Yo, we're live. Eric Hall, Joshua is going to be a few minutes from Apex Conquest. And frankly, that is not his fault. That is entirely my fault. I got him the link to do the show 45 seconds ago, which is so dumb. Juan and I have been grinding our brains out. That sounds gross. We've been working very, very hard and having a lot of fun brainstorming since I got up this morning. It's like afternoon for the Juaninator. But exciting stuff. Like we're learning a lot. We're coming up with really cool ideas. We're sort of going through, thinking a lot about, again, very hypothetical, definitely not for sure meme token. Just kidding. If you're a project that wants to be part of our drop, and just think Woofy, but I think I shouldn't speak for you. I think it's going to be a lot more profoundly effective for the partner projects than Woofy has been. Now Woofy's a lot bigger, so there's it's a bit of a different thing, but we've got a bunch of really, really cool activities planned to benefit projects well in advance of the drop for this. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So anyway, obviously more on that sooner since Juan and I are utterly obsessed with the idea. It's a whole thing. All right, cool. I just mentioned Joshua over here. Like he was in a call too, so it's not just us. Woo!
Okay, good.
All right, so what was the thing? Okay, I wanted to talk to you about. You've got a referral program running on Nefty that I know nothing about. I didn't even know.
Okay.
Tell me.
Okay, that's a good one. It's something that works for drops. We wanted to create that for a long time, and at some point Taco wanted to use it, and it was not really there. So we developed it for their activity.
Needed it, so you built it. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's just that is like a total Nefty team thing to me, right? Like you have a lot of really great ideas, and then somebody's like, "No, we need this for this drop." You're like, "Yeah, hold my beer."
Yeah. So in the end, what you have is that you have a referral code, and you can give that referral code to you create referral codes for different parties. So people will help you promote your drop, and when people claims it, they include the referral drop, the referral code, and you define a percentage of the sales of that drop that will go to each referrer. So you help people with that.
I do like that. So you're basically like pre-getting partners into your project that are like going to get actively paid for helping you to promote it.
You can. You could have like ambassadors or whatever, and they have their code, and every time they go to a drop, every time they send someone to a drop.
Right. If you want to make the Nefty show one of your partner projects or one of your partners on your referral program, you should do it. I'm loud. Like Juan's pretty stable, but I'm loud. No, that's really fun. Okay, so in the context that we were thinking about stuff, especially since Josh was here, so we'll talk about this in a second. In the context of what we're thinking about, the way I initially thought about it is the more they helped, the more that allocation to that partner project would be of the actual meme token. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. That will require a modification of the current system.
Got it. Okay, so we'll talk about that later. Joshua, what's up, man? I'm absolutely categorically blaming myself.
My audio issue again. Hold on.
Oh, you can't hear us. Quit. Yeah, I can. Hold music.
There we go. I got it.
Okay, cool.
I knew what the problem was. Immediately, I was in and I couldn't hear, and I'm like, I know. My StreamYard has a weird bug, but I know how to fix it. Piece of cake.
StreamYard is fired. So yeah, I just wanted to say, we're a couple minutes late getting started. That is entirely on me. Juan and I were brainstorming about this for like the last 3.5 hours. We've been going over some stuff that we want to do. And Joshua, I'm actually gonna send you an early copy of we're gonna share it with people to talk to partner projects, because I'd love to get your opinion on it. But it was like 11:01, and Juan was like, "Are we supposed to be live right now?" Like, shit. I didn't even send Joshua the freaking link. to get on the show. And so it's all good things. I just want to take personal responsibility for being a little bit late. It was not Josh, it was me. So Josh, welcome again. Not only are you our first guest, but you are our second guest. I've actually got a bunch of other guests lined up. Our third guest, I guess we had Ken on a little while ago. So that was fun. But yeah, we've got Corona is coming on tomorrow. That dude is freaking relentless. He's like super OG in the space. And I've got a bunch more lined up, coming soon. So we're finally starting to get some more guests on board, which is really fun. But yeah, Joshua, I was talking to you last week. That Fortress thing went on sale last week. I seriously thought I was going to sell out. Like I set up 2 accounts so that I could buy 2 right away because I wanted to. And so I think not enough people know about this. So if you could send me the link to where it's at, I'm gonna throw it in the comments right now. We can put it in the show notes. But we had a very short conversation about what those things were going to do, and it was really fascinating. Like to me, at like top level, it seemed like it was going to be this situation where you could upgrade it, but you could actually pool a bunch of bros together who are all playing Apex Conquest to upgrade it, and then also everybody benefits from it. Is that kind of like 30,000 foot view kind of idea?
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good, very very top level. I sent you the link in the Discord and private chat. It's a very interesting system. We're really excited about it. It's going to have, I mean, to boil it down as simple as possible, right? To go back to your thoughts, why didn't it sell out super quick? Supply wasn't that high. Honestly, just not that many people know about Apex Conquest. It's a pretty small community.
Like it's early days, right? That's crazy because like the second I saw it, obviously, bullshit was like, "You guys start playing this game." I'm like, God damn it, not another one. And it's the only one I'm playing right now. It's like Battle Miners is really amazing, but way too complicated. Like, who's got time for that? Not me. It's really really fun. This is like, I love the community aspect of it. So for anybody who doesn't know what Apex Conquest is, I'll rattle on a little bit about that. Like that. You guys are only using, not only, but you guys are primarily using partner projects to buy sort of the active ingredient in the game, right? For Uplift, as an example, everybody needs a commander, or a lot of them. I think I have 40. Don't tell anyone. Because I still, honestly, like I'm waiting for the Betsy commander to show up because I want another 10 of those.
By the way, we already have the art ready. I have to ping you after the show, Joshua, to make that happen.
Yeah, so I got a bunch of Betsies. If I can upgrade those into commanders, I'm probably gonna do it. And it just, the game dynamics are challenging, frankly. Like there's a lot to it, and you can grow over time, which is also really interesting, right? So like making some alpha, making some money off of it is not a short-term process. I don't think. Like you can kind of luck out and do well or whatever, but there's a very good kind of grind on it, and it's grinding other people's tokens, which is just really, really cool to me. Like that it's creating motion in the markets. And as Bullshipples will tell you over and over and over again, that motion is really, really smart.
Yeah, and I mean, you bring up some good points, which is part of the reason why I think, in some respects, we're unpopular, unfortunately. In some respects, just calling a spade, being honest. There's a lot of community on Wax, the greater Wax community. There's a lot of people that if they can't see, even the tiniest trickle, I want to be earning at least 0.1 Wax a day, and if I'm not, then I don't want to play. And the truth is, the game is a cyclical system, right? The tokens are coming from other games, right? So we're giving use cases. I mean, most of the tokens have use cases, but we're giving additional use cases to those tokens. And the thing that I always am trying to tell people, I'm like, rather than just dumping your tokens, because like, look, if you've got a ton of lithium, right? Let's use Uplift. You've got a ton of lithium, and if you sell it, the price is going to go down. And if you just keep selling it, the price is only going to go down if everybody just keeps selling. But if instead we have games like Apex and others where we offer uses for it. And now people are saying, hey, well, I can use this rather than just dump it. I can use it to get some entertainment in a side game. And then I can peddle that into a different token, maybe in a game that I'm just now starting to play. I don't have very much access to their token yet. And now, I've got extra lithium. I'll spend it on troop packs. And then I'm really excited about Wolf. I think Wolf is going to 10x.
Yeah.
So I'm going to attack the Wolf pool, even though it looks small right now.
Smaller. That's the
but it'll
interesting
be
thing.
bigger
Like
later.
you
You speculate and you do it your way.
Yeah, no, that has informed my decision on more than one occasion. Interestingly enough, I know what's coming for lithium, so I never use it to buy troops. But that's because I know what's coming.
That's okay.
Let's touch on this because I want to make sure this happens. TC, who is one of the more amazeballs people on Wax, if I do say so myself. Personally, waiting for Dapper Gents to do a game review before I pull the trigger. So there you go, Joshua. Make sure you get with Dapper Gents and get that done. He's great too, so that'll be good. So yeah, we want to talk about the fortresses. Honestly, I kind of knew enough that I wanted to grab one or two, but I'm a moron. I really like this whole system, and I keep looking at it sort of the let's say Apex Conquest gets huge, right? It's suddenly kind of got a whole bunch of token value locked in its system in an interesting way, right? It is cyclical, and people are able to kind of go in and do things, grab stuff, and kind of grind out some success. And now pretty soon with fortresses do it as teams. If there's 100 projects and all those projects start to do better and better, and Apex Conquest is doing better and better, it's got a vibe for me, right? This is the kind of thing that I think could also 10x. If it's constantly with communities and stuff.
And what I find amazing is that after we had you here in the show, and you talked about the tactics, I started to win much more often than before. So that was amazing.
Yeah, dude. I didn't have a single tactics card running on any of my things. I didn't know anything about it. And afterwards, I bought too many Grenadier ones. Fine, those are a little spicy. But even the backpacks and the pipe packs, why aren't you just running those things? So I've got one running all the time. And I found out after our conversation, Josh, hey, do you prefer Joshua or Josh?
Either way, it's fine.
All right, cool. Excellent. So the thing where because you kind of mentioned it, but I didn't know how to do it. The whole idea that you have win points and you have loss points, and you can redeem them for stuff. I'm like, cool. Someday I'll be able to redeem them. No, you do it now. And I kept noticing that I was getting way more the sword guy, one of those just infantry, right? And those were all building up, so I used them all. I just kind of strategically figured out how to use them all in the game, and then I found out you need those infantry cards to use with your blend points. So I got those, the win and loss points are sitting there, but I got a bunch of tactics packs, not a bunch, but 3 from some of my win loss points, and that was fun. That made this nipple pretty hard. So
yeah, it's always fun to pull one of those.
Yeah,
I have the worst luck, so I'm just congratulating other people for getting them because I never get any myself.
DC can vouch for this. Especially early on in the last season, I was doing pack openings all the time, and my RNG was just the universe hated my guts. It was hilarious how bad my luck was. But it's always fun. Okay, so we kind of talked about the basic part of the system. So the fortresses, how are those going to be used in the game?
Yeah. Okay. So another high level, just easy thought for fortresses. The way that we've tried to kind of get people to wrap their minds around it is almost it's you're buying a castle, right? You're buying a fortress for your people, and everybody that you bring in is essentially they're essentially your guild mates, your compadres, your You know, some places use guilds, some places use what are the other big community staples? For some reason, I had it and then it left me. But whatever. Guild. Everybody knows what a guild is, so I think that's a pretty good analogy.
Mhm.
So one person owns it. That's your guild master, and everybody else who gets to join, they're the members of the guild. And
Is there a max amount?
there isn't, but I want to put that little asterisk there because there's 3 different things that you primarily do with your fortress. Okay. You upgrade its tower or citadel level. And what that does is it increases your member capacity. Okay. So it starts out with only 1, right? So the owner plus 1. So it's just a 2-person guild at first. Every time you level that up, it adds 1 slot. Okay. And you can keep leveling it up forever. It adds a slot though. So we expect there will be some big guys like Shipples you've mentioned. He'll probably have a 10 or 15-person guild here. He'll work his way up pretty fast.
Yeah, I see that.
But other groups, you may just have 2 or 3 of your real good buddies on Wax, and you guys always are pitching. Oh, I found this new project, looks like it's a good one. And you just want to put yourselves together in a guild of 3, and that's fantastic. That same level that increases your member capacity also gives you a bonus to success chance for your decks. It's small; it's just 1% per level, but it adds up over time, and it goes for all decks and for all members, right?
Yeah,
So
see, that's huge, right?
it's
So,
pretty
like,
powerful.
yeah, you look at like so as a target, if you could get a 5% increase on your win-loss chance, like these fortresses are basically the way to, you build them up to 5 or 10, and you're now in a situation where the vast majority of the time you're in the black on each battle. Maybe not the vast majority of the time, but like a lot of the time, like more.
Yeah, I mean, over time that adds up.
Right.
If you a lot of people on Wax, I mean, we're math people, right? We blockchain people in general are generally, we're math people. We like to think about this, we think about that. If you can get it to 10, 5 or 10, and then you say, okay, over the course of a month, I'm going to do 100 battles or 1,000 battles, however many commanders you have, and you're like, okay, that's an extra 10 wins or an extra 100 wins, if I'm at 10%. I mean, that's a pretty big deal over time.
It's huge. Then there's the win points, the more, just getting the more token value, what have you. Yeah, that's very interesting to me. And again, like the idea that it sort of takes a village to kind of build these things up is also like you want to make more people be doing more things. So okay, here's a question. So I have one. I'm gonna obviously build it up, right? I'm gonna recruit Juan to come and help me, but Juan has one as well. Can I join his? And now we just basically have to figure out, okay, we want to kind of build them both up, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, so we've got a great system for this, at least in my opinion, right? Maybe a biased opinion. So everybody can only be the owner of one at a time, right? I mean, obviously you could have more, you could sell them, you could operate a second wallet, like we understand that. But per wallet, you can only individually stake one,
right?
But you can be a member of as many as you're invited to be a member in, right?
Right.
So you have one in this example, right? You each own one, and and you guys decide, okay, we're gonna also be members in each other's.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does that look like? The way the system works is really straightforward. Hopefully, right? Hopefully it'll be fairly intuitive for everybody. You have levels for each of these aspects of a fortress. You've got that tower level, you have a barracks level, and then you have the tactical office level. And whatever these 3 levels are for all the fortresses that you're a part of, they just add, right? So say in your fortress, you level the tower exclusively. So it's level 5, but the other 2 are level 1 because you never leveled them up. And then in your other fortress, that you're just a member of, you guys decide we're going to level only the barracks. And so that barracks is level 5, and the tower and tactical officer level 1. So you do the math. Okay, 5, 1,
So
1,
it's
1,
all
5.
stacking.
So
Okay,
you'll be
so-
a 6, 6, 2.
Yeah,
Right? Is
that's
your levels.
interesting.
And
So
those
now-
that's what you'll benefit from. That's what you'll be
Yeah,
able
yeah.
to use.
So it's almost like it kind of bakes in. So Shipples obviously is a really good friend of mine. He for sure owns one of these things by now. So him, Juan, and I are going to basically start a core team. We've got 3 of them, right? So we upgrade mine to increase the number of people that we can have in total, right? And then we upgrade you said there was a barracks, right? So we upgrade the barracks on Juan's to get all the bonuses on that, which counts for everybody who is attached to mine. And then for Shipples, we do the other one, the tactics one. We're going to upgrade that one. And so basically now as a collective, everybody who's part of mine, which is sort of the one where we're growing the team, gets the benefits for all 3 of them.
So so very close. The only difference that you would have to make sure is in order to benefit from the other ones, you have to be members in those 2. So it doesn't just
okay.
So if there's 3 of you, then at minimum, you need to increase that tower level to level 2 so that it can have 2 members. And then you're a member in each of the 3, right? Because there's 3 total members. There's an owner. So you got a little triangle going. Then
So
each one of you is an owner with 2
Okay.
members.
The
And you all include
towers
each other.
in them have to be upgraded across the board, basically.
Right. Well, I mean, just at least to the point where, everybody that you want to be in it is in it. Right.
Right.
So,
right.
if it's just 3 people, it's just one extra level is all you need. For like Shipples with their they've got a big the colony community.
Yeah.
You'd expect them to have some fortresses over there, maybe operating from their community wallet, that they're going to level that thing way up.
Yeah.
And
That's
being
almost
a
like-
member in it will probably be something that's relatively exclusive because they've got a big community. It's going to be difficult to put everybody into one unless they really grind that level up.
Right. So would it make sense then to, depending on how much the level up cost is it harder to get more levels? Like, does the cost increase?
The cost does increase. It's a linear increase, so it doesn't get extremely over expensive. But it does make sense to if you hey, we've got a dedicated group of 3.
Right now,
it would make sense to level them.
Right.
Yeah, to level different ones rather than stacking it all in one.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
But we do have a system, and I think that this is something that will be interesting to players. We do have a system that removes trust from the equation, because that's a big problem with a guild like this, where you're collaborating to build something together. It's not a big deal if you've got your very personal group of friends that you're working with.
Yeah.
But what if you don't? Right? What if you don't own one? You want to be a member in one, but you don't necessarily have like somebody that you really know and trust. And so, we'll probably open a channel, a guild, a fortress recruitment channel, right?
Yeah.
People can say, hey, I've got 2 open slots. I'd like to bring people in.
Yeah.
And there's risk there, because if you join, I mean, obviously just joining for free is easy to do.
Yeah.
But you can also be removed really easily. And if you're going to contribute to the growth of that fortress, you don't want to be somebody to be able to just remove you from the list.
Right. So now you've paid into something you can't benefit from.
That's the thing, right? If you donated tokens in order to build that fortress up, and then you get kicked out of the guild, essentially, that wouldn't feel good, right?
Right.
So what we've done is we track. Essentially, it starts with tracking, right?
Yeah.
You join a fortress and you donate 1,000 fort tokens. Let's just for the sake of nice round number, you donate 1,000 fort tokens. Only the owner can use those for a level up. They can't withdraw them though. So it's not a system where somebody dumps the tokens in and then the owner just pulls them right back out and sells them instead. That can't happen. It gets donated, it gets credited to that fortress, and then it can only be used, right? Because that's why they were donated. They were donated to be used, not to be stolen back out.
Right.
So you donate 1,000. Now you're tracked individually. Okay, this wallet donated 1,000.
Yeah.
Now, once that's happened, once you've donated to the fortress, the owner of that fortress cannot remove you from the fortress without paying you exactly what you donated in fort tokens.
There you
Right.
go.
So they have to pay you
They
out.
can buy you. They can buy you out, but they can't keep you.
And that's fully at their discretion, right? So they, there's a contract operation. Remove this person. It will reference, okay, this person has donated 1,000. You want to remove them? Pay 1,000 tokens. You click yes, it sends it to their wallet and it removes them immediately. So it's a very simple system, but it does prevent abuse. It prevents anybody from like inviting somebody in, and then they donate and they build it up together, and then they kick them out. Now, you might still do it. You're right. You might still kick people out. Sorry, my dog's squeaking a toy. I don't know if you can hear it.
I thought it might be one of mine.
So you might still do it, right? If you have like a tight knit group, somebody donated 1,000 fort, but now either they've gone completely MIA, they're gone, they're not playing anymore, they're not contributing anymore. Whatever the reason is, you might say, hey, well, you know what? It's worth it. Let's buy this guy out and bring in somebody new, right? Because you want your members to contribute. Unless you're at a stable fortress level where you're happy with your bonuses, and then you're like, well, we don't need anybody to donate right now. It's fine, So that's for every player to figure out for themselves, right? Because we fully expect that there will be some groups that are like, I need to get my fortress to 10 members right away because I got 10 friends that I want to be in my guild.
For sure.
And and there's that guy. And then there's the other guy over here who says, I've got a bunch of decks, I've got a lower level fortress, but maybe I'll just battle the fort pool as much as possible and sell it to the guy over here who really wants those tokens to level up his fortress. And that's fine, right? I mean, that's economics, supply and demand. This guy really heavily demands the token, and you don't mind waiting to level yours up till later. Fine, be a supplier. That's cool.
This is the way.
It's totally, that's blockchain economics. That's normal.
I mean, that's why it's such a fascinating place to be in. There's a bunch of different ways to win.
Yes, and so hopefully we're trying to facilitate some interesting things. We really want fort token to not interrupt the typical gameplay of the system, right? We generally are using other game tokens. So something to be aware about that fort token. You guys probably already know, but anybody who hasn't played yet doesn't. Our fort token can only be obtained during weekends. 2 days out of 7, the fort pool can be attacked. Okay, that's it. All right. So
are you
other
putting
5
in a static amount, or like what? How do you calculate that?
Yeah, so the calculations on the fort pool are really, really straightforward. Actually, your carrying capacity number determines your tokens, because instead of getting a percentage of a pool, there is no pool. The fort token system is mint on demand. It mints on demand the tokens.
Okay.
So when you battle, if you have 50 carrying capacity, let's say, you'll get 50 tokens out of a successful attack.
All right.
Straightforward. It's a 1-for-1. And so it's really straightforward. It's very simple. And the fort token pool has actually been live for a long time. It just hasn't been available to use yet, right? So the supply circulating is still really low. I think there's maybe at this point like 100,000 fort tokens or something like that is all that's circulating. It's a very small.
I got my first amount over the weekend. I hadn't really tried it yet.
I don't have it yet because I never played during the weekends, and I didn't remember that. Now I have to write it down and play this weekend. Man.
Yeah, I forget sometimes too. I've got 4 kids, so weekends are busy for me. So like I'll usually get my first one, and then the second one I'll like remember on Sunday evening, and then it's after UTC 0, and I'm like, no, I missed it. I missed my second fort hit.
Here's
I
a
really
question.
badly wanted that.
Does the owner of the fortress make anything off of other people doing battles?
Right now, no. Right now, no. There's everybody still has their own. It's fully individual, right? We have definitely talked about expanding the fortresses a tiny bit in time, right? I mean, we can easily add a little more to it. The reason why we don't have that, the reason why we don't currently have a percentage, right, taken for fortresses and things, it adds a lot of complication to the system, right?
Mhm.
Especially for people who might be members in a lot of different fortresses.
Right.
You know, if
Yeah.
every fortress is like, okay, well, you take 0.1% per your tower level, like that might be something. You know, you get to split out, you know, 0.1% for every level of your tower for all the different members, and it goes to the owner wallet. Well, I mean, if you know, I have a very high level, good lord, that dog. If I have a very high level fortress, and you know, I've got my 10 members, and each of them is also members in 10 other high level
I see what you're
fortresses.
saying. Right,
You know,
right.
the 30, it's going to end up with like 30% of your token winnings are getting divided all over the place.
Well, then you kind of have a vested interest to decide if you want to be in tons of them. Does that make sense? Right.
Yeah.
So like and if it's low enough, I mean, my whole thing is because I think like obviously, you know, I'm gonna awesome thing. TC was looking for the tokens on that card. You know, I'm gonna have a couple or whatever, right? Colony's gonna have a bunch in there. It's sort of a gimme. That seems pretty obvious. But you know, let's say there's 100 people with fortresses. Don't we want each fortress member to have an incentive to recruit players and to recruit players that are going to grind?
Yeah, and I mean, there's definitely some elements to that. We have considered instead, and so you know, you may see some updates for this instead of like a fraction from the pools that you're attacking for your members, right? What if you get a very small amount of fort tokens?
That's exactly where
as a very, you know, very minor, but an added bonus to each attack.
So and now, like, and I could say as the owner, you know, 100% of this until we hit level 15 on everything is just going right back into the castle or into the fortress.
Right. So something like that we've definitely talked about doing it. And you know, if we check our tokenomics and we're sure that the extra float of tokens isn't going to be a problem, right? That's kind of the thing. We want to make sure that we balance the incoming and outgoing of tokens and things like that. If we find that it's okay, right? There's not enough fort that's circulating. People are like, I need more, and you're only opening it up on the weekends. Give me more.
I already am that guy.
Right. And I mean, and that may be true right at the very beginning, but we want to make sure that it's sustained too. So it could be a little bit of time, but you know, a couple weeks, but it wouldn't be that difficult for us to add that. And if we did add it, it would just be a free upgrade, right?
Well,
we would just add the functionality.
I like the idea. So like I made a significant amount of money off of our planet because I was early, right? But like a lot of people got their face burned off buying miners for like 10 grand that looked like they were going to be profitable inside of 90 days. But if you're left holding the bag, you're screwed, right? Like there's that hyperinflation curve looks sexy on the upside. The hangover is bad news bears. I was selling the whole time just because I knew it couldn't, maintain for that long. With this, like you need to build a network. You need to, you know, be benefiting all these other communities by, you know, grabbing, building commanders off of their NFTs and using their token to buy troops or whatever, right? And like your alpha is not guaranteed by doing nothing, which again is a recipe for disaster. And really to like get to the point where you're grinding on a positive. I haven't really been paying attention, but I don't think I'm in the black yet. But I could see it, right? Like I know how long more or less it's going to be before I can get there, and that's fascinating to me because that means like 5 years from now we could still be messing around with this and it could still be working. Like the way I see those fortresses, which is why I wanted to buy 2 of them, is like this is Alien World's land but cooler. Right?
Yeah, I mean, we hope that it'll be really fun, and like we mentioned right way back at the beginning of the video for anybody who's been watching the whole time, just not a whole lot of people know about it yet.
Right.
Not a whole lot of people have come in and really started figuring it out. The fun thing for me, and I don't know if it's just me personally, maybe, I don't know, but the thing that I like about the game, one of the things that I love is we're really attractive to people who are in the know, people who are either really connected on Wax or they're developers themselves, present company included, and I've got a lot of other developers that love Apex Conquest. Like some of our biggest players are the owners of projects that we've partnered with, right? I mean, you'll see Roger, one of the head guys with FGL. I mean, he's in our chat all the time. He's hanging out. He's always putting mock or FGL tokens in with his troop pack buys. He's doing all kinds of stuff. He really enjoys it. He's a longtime player. He's been playing for over a year.
Yeah.
And you know, it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Right now, there's 48 million lithium in the pool. One thing I'm gonna be doing is we're doing like a partner program ourselves. We're gonna start doing monthly grants to projects that are doing really cool things in the space. And I mean, I'm gonna throw 50 million upliftium in the pool by buying packs for the uplift DAO. And then we're just like going to be able to give them away. We're going to be able to do a bunch of stuff, right? But it's like you're going to have these NFT packs that can go out there and use them, right? Get your things and have fun with that or whatever. But now I've got bounty block fodder for the daily missions or whatever I end up having time to do to get more attention for a project. And tangentially, here's the use case. One of the use cases for lithium. Here's a really fun game that we're partnered with or whatever. And that to me it seems really fun, right? Like we're going to be able to have this situation where all of the attention that I can build, I can encourage people to, at least become aware of what we're doing on Conquest in the same way that people need to be aware that there's now a Minecraft server that Modded Outlaw is running that's getting one of these grants, and you can go in their server and earn uplifting. Like that's just, and I can't wait to have like 10 of those, which I think, we're going to do. Also, we should have a very giant, well-rewarded FDU lifting pool. I'm just saying, it's one of those things.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. We're excited to hopefully be right in the middle of these kind of systems. That's the sort of thing that I've been trying to build us towards, to strong partnerships with these collections that we're providing use cases for. However the mechanic works, like you said, you buy troop packs and then give them away or use them for reward drops, or however the partners want to use it is fine. But we want to be right in the middle of facilitating tokens and things and rewards, and just be there as an alternative to either just dumping or staking for liquidity rewards. The thing about liquidity rewards, they're really cool and they do help stabilize the token. So I highly suggest doing them. But at the same time, if you overflow those liquidity rewards, all that ends up doing is increasing the supply token. And you got to be careful with it. So having a game like Apex Conquest as an alternative, right? This isn't flooding any new tokens anywhere, but it's allowing for the circulation to have multiple steps. And I hope that it will be a big thing moving forward for a lot of different collections that they can use. One of the things that I'm really excited about, that I'm sure you guys will be able to take advantage of, once we go live with it. But our tournament system and our boss battles that we're going to be introducing, I think are going to be really exciting for people. They essentially function just like the rest of the game, right? So at the very most basic level, you're like, well, what's the difference? It's a pool that I'm attacking that will reward me tokens. It's basically, this is true, yes. But the reason that it's special is it is a separated pool of a fixed amount of time and token amount, right? That is all paid
Yeah.
out at once rather than getting chipped out a little bit at a time. And for the duration of the thing, collections are going to be able to provide their own IPFS banners and links and things like that. And so, let's say just using Nefty as an example, Nefty's got a new feature and they want some more people to know about it. And so you create a tournament. We've got the self-service system. It's actually already in our alpha testing. We're playing with it right now. Self-service portal. You go in, you put the Nefty tokens in, you set up the tournament dates, and there are minimums, and they're based on our troop pack price multiplier. So it's very straightforward. It's based on wax. And you set it up, and then now you've got a tournament running in our game. And we'll have a new page for tournaments. People can see what's available. They'll see your banners, they'll see your announcements and things like that. So it's another place for collections to post announcements about themselves, new drops, new updates, whatever it is. Maybe it's just a new season of something. It's not anything to sell. You just want people to come play it and try it out. And the awesome thing about it is, hey, we're about to start this new season, and all you need is our token. And guess what? All you have to do is attack this tournament, and you'll get some of our token. And it's just going to be a wonderful system that people can use their own tokens to create banner events in Apex Conquest.
That self-service thing is I mean, like Uplift will definitely do that, but that sounds like something that's just going to be a lot of fun. Why wouldn't we, right? Right. And then presumably we can go to your Discord and our Discord, like, hey, we got this thing going on, blah blah blah. I like the idea, like the new sort of feature, like tying it to something that that people should know about. That's really cool. All right, is there anything else you want to mention about the fortresses before we start winding things down? Just one more thing I want to cover.
The only other thing, so we talked a lot about that tower level. Just briefly, I want to mention what the other two levels do, the barracks and the tactics office. The barracks allows you to make the mighty troops. And I think that I did mention it last time when I was on the show. My background here, you see some mighty troops. And they are in the game already, though they aren't circulating. Right. So if you click add troops to your decks, you should see them in the interface now. They're available in there. You just don't have any. So nobody can add them because they don't have them yet, but they're in there. They're already functioning. We've been testing with them internally. We've minted a couple to test them and see if they're working the way they should. So far, so good. So they're in game. You'll be able to craft those. And you mentioned earlier that the infantry guys, they're 4-1 stats. They're very low. They're the worst. But they're used for redeeming the victory and loss points. Well, it's those same infantry that are the ones that you're training through the barracks to turn into these mighty troops. So every time you want to create one of these guys, you're going to need one infantry with some fort tokens. Infantry plus fort tokens, you'll receive a mighty troop. Really straightforward. Right. And they range from definitely better to significantly better. But of course they're harder to make, and they can still die. So it's one of those things, like you feel like, hey, I could get a lot of value out of this troop, but how many times am I going to be able to use him before he gets randomly selected?
The general into battle that is actually doing the fighting sooner or later, that general might get shot in the face. It's one of those.
So it's true. So you do have to kind of balance and there's some luck elements to it that you just, you can't necessarily control. But that's how that's going to work. And for every level, you're going to have a certain amount of charges that you can do per day. So if your barracks is level 5, like if it's combined level 5 between all your fortresses that you're an owner or member of, then you can do it 5 times a day, right?
Oh, cool. All right.
And that's how it'll work. It just will reset at UTC 0 every day. Now we expect, of course, early on the amount of fort tokens in circulation will make it so that people are probably more likely to be spending them on levels for the fortress early on. So there may not be very many mighty troops out there. But over time, as people are feeling more stable with their current fortress level, that's where they transition into starting to make more mighty troops instead. So it'd be really interesting, the competition for resources. The tactical office is a weekly cooldown, so it's the same kind of thing. Its level gives you a number of charges, but it'll reset once a week rather than once a day, and it will allow you to either craft a tactics pack for the existing tactics packs, okay, same ones that we have right now. It'll allow you to craft one of those with fort and wax. You do have to use some wax because we don't want to make it so that these are flooded. So you could get existing tactics cards a little more reliably once a week, right? So it's not a huge amount, but it is still very helpful. Or you're going to be able to upgrade existing tactics cards into our new advanced tactics, which are going to have some mechanics that allow you to protect some of your mighty troops, right? That's the idea with the advanced tactics. You may have an advanced tactic called catapults at the rear or something. I haven't finalized the names for these, but it would basically say, up to 1 catapult in your deck cannot be chosen as the troop loss. And so you would be able to operate that deck with your 1 catapult, and for sure it cannot be chosen to die. It doesn't have any other benefit, so it doesn't give you anything else, but it does protect that 1 troop. The cool thing about these advanced tactics is they're going to be dynamic, so they can be leveled up. You can spend a lot of fort token to level them up, so that catapults you may level from 1 to 2, and now it protects 2 catapults. We definitely don't anticipate it going beyond level 4, because if it could go all the way to 10, it would be very, very broken. But it'll allow you to protect a certain amount of mighty troops, always only 1 variety at a time. So you do have to kind of pick and choose your decks, and you got to be really careful with, okay, this is my catapult deck. I can only put catapults in here because they're protected. I don't want to if I use any other mighty troops, they're not protected. So it's going to be interesting.
But I think anybody that starts using any of the tactics cards, that becomes sort of a baked-in way that you start assigning people. I'm actually like that careful approach thing. I think is undervalued, because over time, like if you have more than 1 commander, 40. It's only 37, but still, I'm constantly thinking about troop loss, and especially because thinking right now, I'm trying to grind win and loss points more than anything, right? Because if I can get those things and then have a chance to get some more tactics cards, then that's sort of my mindset right now. But that's like being able to use those and getting less troop attrition means that it's going to cost me less token to sort of resupply, right? Whether it's chill or uplifting or whatever.
Yeah, and nobody likes the that it nerfs your deck a little bit, but over time, like you said, over time, averages wise, reducing your losses is a really big deal. If you think about it on a per month basis, kind of a thing. The average it's really helpful.
I like thinking long term. It's a problem of mine. Yeah. All right. So Juan, I wanted to touch on this briefly. Once again, we started the show talking about it, but I want people to understand this. I actually dropped an idea in your Telegram. Something I didn't know about until today, which is ridiculous. I should know everything about Neffy at all times. But so there's a referral program. Please correct me if I'm wrong about this. I'm going to try and describe it. So I'm doing a drop for Uplift, and I've got 3 partner projects and influencers that are going to be part of my referral program. And so now every time, they kind of, well, I was assuming like they can refer people and they end up getting whitelisted, but it's like whitelisted and tagged to them basically.
Well, it's not really whitelisted, but what happens is that we have a code that you give to each one of these influencers or referrers.
Sure.
And when people comes to the drop with this code, there's a predefined percentage. You define that percentage of the price of the drop that goes directly to them, and they are rewarded for helping you getting buyers.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. So anybody out there who wants to do a partner drop with the Nifty Show, call me. No, it's interesting, right? I mean, just the ability to sort of bake in a percentage that's a smart contract, trustless, where somebody can go in and do some work for a project and actually create wins for everybody. That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome indeed.
And we'll right, TC. Yeah. Oh my God, that's awesome. I agree. Boom shakalaka.
That's a good system.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's good, and now we already have some ideas on how we have to change it to do our other weird ass thing. Not that we're planning on dropping a meme token. That's weird. We're definitely not for sure doing it. We had a whole episode on it yesterday, brainstorming how one might hypothetically do it. Because again, like we're definitely not. Sorry, I have too much fun with this nonsense. It's true. All right, Josh, thanks so much for coming on. I know way more about the fortresses now. That's fantastic.
Yes.
You know me well. I can't help myself. It's one of those things. Anyway, to TC, everybody else who's been watching, to everybody else who's starting to watch now. We have a few more people coming in all the time. Hello. Grateful that we get to be here doing this, and grateful you came and hung out. And go find Apex Conquest. Go find a way to get one of the and see if your community, like the community that you're part of in NFTs, they might already have one. If they're listed on the Apex Conquest site, there's a good chance there's a way to get a commander, which everybody needs, right? You want a commander to run all the troops or whatever. Again, I've got a bunch of them. Highly recommend doing more than one. Law of averages, but yeah, there's a good chance you can blend some of your other NFTs and get one of these things, which is really cool. Or they can just count for it. I had an Alien Worlds epic that just was one, which was kind of fun from like a gazillion years ago. Again, Josh, thanks for coming on. I freaking love you, and I guess we'll just keep brainstorming and definitely not launch anything weird before too long.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
All right, cheers.
You're welcome.
We out.